Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna let y'all get in here. I'm gonna let y'all get in here real quick. Yeah, man. That was something. Huh? That was something, eh? Thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat. M2626M, Edward Chan, Silo Ren, uh, Joseph Balby, and Nate Talks Giants, Nerding Out Sports. First of all, shout out to OGR Sports for tuning into the building. I hope, hey man, if you got time and chance, definitely call. I'm gonna drop the link right away, by the way. So you know what? Let me just do that right now. Let me just do that right now. I'm gonna drop the link right away. Hopefully you could call him, bro. Definitely want to hear what you got to say about this. Shout out to OGR Sports for the $5 super chat. He says, "Cheer up, organization is here." I know he meant to type OGR, but organization is here. Eric Garrison also in the building. What up, everybody? How y'all doing? Luan in the building. Luan says, "Let's not get crazy over the game. Giants will make the playoffs." Luan, I gotta see a lot more before I could start agreeing with you, man, or bro. You know what I'm saying? Bro is a gender neutral term in my chat, by the way. I'm gonna say that. Bark Nasty in the building as well. Um, you guys saw my thoughts. You saw my reaction. This is for y'all. Y'all know I'd be doing the pain streams after every game. I simply did not have it in my soul to do it last night or like late yesterday afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. It simply was not in my soul. I didn't have the energy to just get on and do the pain stream because I was in too much pain. I had to delay it one day. But for those of you that don't know, for anybody that might be new, but I'm seeing all familiar faces in here, the pain stream is for you guys. It's for y'all to hop on, you guys to rant, you guys to get it out of your system. You know, I'm here to listen. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, we'll have conversation, we'll talk, but this is all for you guys. With that being said, we got the first guy in here, man. It's the homie. It's OGR. What up? What up, man? How you doing, bro?
Let me know if the AirPods are an issue because I haven't actually streamed with them at all on anybody's thing, but I don't think they will be.
So far, I'm hearing you just fine. Shout out to Lucas in the chat as well and YRN. Yeah.
So, I mean, pain is pain, man. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, a lot of people be like, "Well, you're accepting of losing OGR." No, I'm numb to it now. Like, I'm literally numb to it. Uh, I turned because I watched it with my dad yesterday because actually it wasn't in the Connecticut area. Like, I don't know if it was on in the New York area, but it wasn't on in the Connecticut area.
I had a lot of
So,
people coming into the stream telling me that they were like, "Yo, what in the world is going on? Like, we're not getting it. I'm in Connecticut."
yeah, so we didn't get it. We ended up getting Saints Patriots, which is understandable. I mean, but and it's just weird because the Patriots are usually on CBS. I don't even understand why that game wouldn't be in CBS. To be totally honest, maybe it's I don't know. Was that game in New England or New Orleans? Might have been in New Orleans.
Whatever
But
the case is, it's usually AFC on CBS, NFC on Fox. You know.
yeah, but I mean, when it was 14-7, I turned to my dad and said, "You know, we're losing this game, right?" And that was the start of the 8-minute, 50-minute drive, and they had totally gotten momentum. And I turned to him again. I said, "Oh, looks like I'm right." I said, "Game-winning drive for Matt Ryan, huh?" And my dad goes, "I hate you."
Right? I mean, what do you want him to say, bro?
Yeah, no, I don't blame him, but I just like, but I hate when I'm proven right, especially about stuff like this. I think a lot of people, last year people were probably reluctant to jump on the bandwagon with me when I said, it's essentially all Mara's fault, and I've said it on your stream a couple times, and now I hear, shout out to Entertainer, shout out to Fireside Giants, both decent channels, but they said it in their video, they talked about it, and one thing that was brought up, and I think it should be done, I just don't think the Giants will do it. What's going on, Cowboy X Factor? Good to see you, my man. One thing they'll do that they should do, they won't, is hire a third party, get a VP of operations, because John Mayer he ain't about it, and you got to start the whole thing over. But I don't think you can pitch the overall totality of the Giants nation on a rebuild. But to me, I want them to prove me wrong. every Sunday I'll still be in front of that TV rooting. I don't care if the team is 16-0 or 0-16. Does not matter. I am going to root for this team regardless. I will be in front of that TV on this Sunday, even though I probably should be painting my door, both my doors, front and back. Like,
Are you painting them blue?
no, I'm painting them white.
Okay, I was about to say. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, hold up. I thought
Eh,
that's where this was going.
No, I should be like right now just like doing chores, but no, I'm gonna waste my Sunday afternoon watching the Giants. And
hmm
at this point, it is a waste. But I love this team regardless of where they are. So
Just real quick, shout out to everybody else that's tuning in. Rick Gull, we got Damian Jackson in here, King Sean, Mark Primetime. What up, man? He said I'm gonna watch Dallas play. I'll be watching the replay of the stream tonight after work. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Always appreciate whenever basically rival fans come into the stream. You guys are amazing. Yvette's in here as well. Sunday, what's up? How you doing? Uh, you mentioned something that you kind of skipped over that I want to ask you, which I feel like is a very fair question at this point. You said it would be very hard for the Giants to pitch to the fans and everybody in general a full scale rebuild. Has it even come to that point? Shout out to PTA. And listen, Pest, I know you said you didn't want to do anything Giants related, but I need to hear your thoughts. You better click that link.
um no, yeah, I mean, repeat the question. I don't know. I just like
So you
had
were
a
like, it
brain
would be
fart.
hard to basically pitch a rebuild, right? I'm like, do you think it's come to that point? Like, do you think it's
Oh,
come to a
absolutely.
full
It's
scale one?
all right. Well, it may not. Okay, so here's where I see it doesn't. I just think it sets us back. So hypothetically, let's say we go through the season and we have a typical Giant season where we start 0-5, 0-6, 0-7. Somehow, some way, we get a win and we're able to string 3-4 along. Let's say we finish, I don't know, 6-11, 7 and what would it be? Yeah, six. It'd be 6-11, so it'd be 7-10. Okay, Giants fans would feel a little bit better at that point. You'd see the
hmm
momentum, it's to me, it's a lie to you. You're strung on. Okay, maybe it's a little bit better than we had,
It's
but
the
we
lie
still.
that we've had for what, 3 seasons now, 4 seasons?
Well, I mean, 8 or 9, if you really want to be totally honest with yourself. I mean, 2016 was a fluke.
hmm
An easy. We had a last place schedule. We beat bad teams. We beat the teams we should beat, and we went 11-5. But it was an
hmm
absolute fluke. Like we're not. To me, it is because you desperately need a new vision for this team. And that's what it boils down to. You need a new vision for this team. How do you get that? You've got to be able to clean house. And I mean from the top down. Like everybody's like, oh, they complain about Dave Gettleman. Like everybody's been ranting about Dave Gettleman. Okay, you want to sit there and critique all his picks? Great. You want to critique his free agent moves? Great. To me, I am done arguing over spilled milk. It's okay. You don't like Dave Gettleman. Who hired him? And then you're going to turn to that same entity and say, fix it, where their decisions over the last 8 or 9 years have brought you misery. You've probably seen the viral tweet by now that somebody put out where it's a Cleveland Brown fan about 8, 9 years ago in front of the
Yes, I
stadium
saw
just
that. Yeah,
complaining.
yeah.
And we are the new Cleveland Browns. We are the new Detroit Lions. We are the new Washington football team,
hmm
where you have bad organizational structure that causes your team to be worse than what it is.
hmm
I mean, that's what it is. And it's like anybody blaming one entity at this point, you're missing the total picture. You are. You cannot blame one entity for what's going on with the Giants because there's just way too many years linked together at this point.
hmm
And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I don't. But it's the truth.
So, how do you even like? Oh, okay. I'm asking as a fan because I don't think anybody knows the answer. How do you even fix this? Like, how?
First, you have to get new ideas into the building. And it starts with getting John Mara to back off the team a little bit because I think a lot of these decisions are based from John Mara. I think John Mara, thought he could take a bigger role with this team, and a lot of the decisions you see that people blame on Dave Gettleman, I think it's John Mara saying, Gettleman, you're a bitch. Guess what? Do what I say. And guess what? I want Saquon. If you're a general manager and you're putting that, and your boss says, "Do something or you're fired," you're gonna do it. I'm not trying to, give Dave Gettleman an excuse. I just don't think this whole thing is cut and dry. Because here's where I'm coming from. Over the
Mm-hmm.
last 8 or 9 years, look at the problems we've had. Okay, it doesn't matter if you look at Steve Spagnuolo, Perry Fuel, or the end of Steve Spagnuolo's career, Perry Fuel, and what's the other, the current defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Still giving up big chunk plays in the middle of the field. You're not able to close out games at the end of games. No
Still
pass
second
rush.
half problems, which I don't know how we're still having allowing teams to score right before the half ends.
Yeah, but just all in general. I mean, this is going over 3 defensive coordinators. Okay, offense, same thing. Can't reliably run the ball. We need our quarterbacks to play perfectly to overcome mistakes of the rest of the team. And if the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback ever has a bad game, it's over. There's nothing you're going to do about it. So, I mean, these are all hallmarks of all the Giants teams. Are you just telling me every coach we hired is bad? Every player we've gotten is terrible. And then we go and we watch somebody like Pat Shermer go over and just take Teddy Bridgewater and just touch him. And Teddy Bridgewater, all of a sudden, the Broncos are 3-0. Granted, they played a very weak schedule, but they're still 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
They're still competitive. And this is a team we were laughing about week 1. Like, everywhere else, somebody has Steve Spagnuolo. Yeah, the Kansas City defense isn't great, but it keeps them in games. It's not costing them games, essentially. Steve Spagnuolo is doing good stuff in KC. Like, are you telling me everybody we hire is trash? Or is there something else going on behind the scenes? Because I could understand if this was like a 2, 3, 4 year problem. Absolutely. I'd be right with you. If you wanted to say Dave Gettleman or this guy or this guy, I'd be right with anybody. But when you're going on close to a decade, there's bigger issues here. There's something else afoot. And it sounds conspiracy theory because, you don't want to believe that because this is something that's not easily changed. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to clean house all the way down. I'm talking about firing Chris Mara. I'm talking about getting rid of Kevin Abrams. Why has Kevin Abrams been here this long? Assistant GM to what's his face, Jerry Reese and Dave Gettleman. Why? Why is Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Abrams still here?
Mm-hmm.
If he's so good, if he's so great, why wasn't he promoted in one of those years? Why didn't you just say, "Bye, Dave Gettleman. I think we have a good GM in Kevin Abrams." The Giants
Mm-hmm.
had that much confidence in Kevin Abrams. I understand he's a guru with the payroll and whatnot, but okay, great. You can go get a money guy. Like they're out there all over the place. Like you can go get your guy, balance your cap. So what's Kevin Abrams? Both these guys have been here. Chris Mara and Kevin Abrams. Now, obviously, Chris Mara has ties to the Mara family, but to me, he's more concerned about horse racing than he is about the New York Football Giants. He doesn't add anything to the equation. The fact that he's a Mara. That's it. Okay, get out of here. We don't need that. We don't need you, Kevin Abrams. Dave Gettleman, goodbye. See you
Mm-hmm.
later. Scouts that have been here for a while, goodbye. But I think we actually changed the scouting department pretty much under Dave Gettleman after his, first 2 years of Pat Shermer. I think it's actually been all we worked, to be totally honest with you.
Exactly. So what I'll
I
say
mean, Hub.
before, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but Hub, I mean, do you disagree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think I'm being hyperbolic? What?
I agree with you when it comes to what you call it, when it comes to the Mara being the problem, because that's something I've said as well last year. I'm just gonna use Young Guns as an example because it was technically the very first podcast I ever did with Kid Blue. Like the thing we talked about for most of that podcast was, do we think ownership could be a problem for the Giants? And I think that is ultimately what it boils down to. I'm not. I don't know if anybody's gonna get fired because if we're gonna talk about the Giants right now, the quote unquote Giants way is never really to fire anybody during the season. So I don't think anybody's getting fired during the season. Um, but I
I,
will
I,
say,
I
yeah, go
think
ahead.
you. I think you're mistaken there. This is
Really?
maybe if this was the Giants teams of 2012, 09, 08, something like that. I'd agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
This is not that. This is not that Giant organization.
Well, we've
So
only fired one person during it. That was 2017, right? Like we didn't fire Shermer during the season. We waited until
no, we
after.
didn't. We did, but realistically, as we're playing right now, sure, it can change. But
Listen, if there's
as
one
a
person I
team,
want fired immediately, all right, it's Jason Garrett. Like if there's one person I've wanted him gone since last year, and you notice everybody in the chat knows this. I've wanted him gone since last year, and this week really just showed how much of an aberration week 2 was. Just like week 5, I think it was against Dallas last year, was the only good game he called. Week 2 this year is the only, I know we're only 3 weeks in, but week 2 this year was the only good game he called. It seems like he just knows how to play certain teams. And I think it's very clear to me that he doesn't know how to use his best weapons to their full potential right now. So, I mean, if there's anybody that I really want to be fired immediately, it would be Garrett. But I honestly, I don't know. I don't see anything that tells me they're gonna make big changes until the end of the season.
I mean, you're hearing the beat writer saying that, Mara was throwing shit. People were making a big deal about how shit was torn up in the, owner section of that stadium. Now, maybe that's a little bit being hyperbolic. Maybe that's on, maybe that's a little hearsay. People showed some turned over cans saying, oh, it was from Giant Stadium. And then they have the meme of John Mara taking his seat and throwing it pathetically across the room. But I don't know how much of that is true. I can't corroborate it or anything like that. But I just know that this is not the same Giants organization I grew up with. That patience, let's give the guy to the end of the season. Even if we're struggling, it doesn't matter. We're going to deal with it. I mean, I went through tough years with Jim Fossil, and he stayed here for God knows how long. And a lot of Giants fans still love Jim Fossil, you know? But at the end of the day, this is a now league. Now. I could see the Giants, the way their decisions making is, of go outright firing Gabe Gettleman. Let's say we're 06, 07, 08, 09, which is a realistic possibility. I can see it happening. I mean, I imagine, even though you don't want to admit that to yourself, you could
Mm-hmm.
see it happening too if we get to that level. Now, if we are able to, I don't know, piece a win here or there in the next couple weeks, okay. But right now, this team is giving you zero reason to be optimistic. And I get people trying to be glass half full. It's only 3 games, but statistically looking at it, it's what, like a 17% chance of making the playoffs if you start 0-3 or something ridiculous.
Oh, I thought that was it for 0-2. I thought it would have been low. I don't know, but it's very low either
I,
way. It's a very low chance.
I mean, to me, it's a very tough situation, and a lot of people will always get on. Well, you're accepting of losing, you're accepting of losing, and to me, the way I look at it is, you got at a certain point in your life, you got to be realistic, and you're not accepting of anything. But the first problem to recovery is admitting you have a problem. And there's a lot of Giants fans that are just in denial and just, I don't want to believe this, I don't want to believe that. This is not the organization I grew up with. You're right. It's not the organization you grew up with. A lot of guys are young fans, and I say, go look back at New York Giants history. It's not cupcakes and roses. Yes, you have to go 40, 50 years back, 35 years back. But when I for the most part, I grew up with the Giants during their heyday. Every Super Bowl has been done since I've been alive. I'm 37 years old. We don't know what pain is. And there are some older Giants fans that know what pain is. They're 50, 60, 70 years old. They know, they lived through the 50s and 60s and the 70s teams. The Giants struggled. It wasn't until the early 80s, and the gift that was George Young turning around this organization. And it was a gift from the NFL that got the Giants where they were. And people don't realize that. And I keep saying, this could be 20 years of just absolute depression. This team is all about big downturns and big upswings. Big downturns, big upswings. And right now we are in a serious downturn. And unless we have some new blood coming in here, and that's what George Young was to the Giants, to turn this organization around, because Wellington Mara was at his wits' end, and the NFL was like, "Here you go, Giants." I hope the NFL, resurrects George Young, brings it back in,
I
but
was about to
it's
say
just
he
not
was
gonna happen.
what we need. No matter who we fire, whatever. I think we just need to bring somebody that's not connected to the organization at all, because that's what we've been doing for the past 10 years. Guys that are somehow connected to the organization. It ain't working out. Let's try something different.
Yeah, and no, absolutely. I just don't know if Mayer is just so stuck in his ways that he's not. I just don't. I don't trust him to make the right decision.
Hmm.
I can see a scenario that he's so desperate to win, he's so blinded by what's going on that I'm not by no means am I rooting for the Giants to lose, and I imagine you're the same way. You're not going to root for the
Hmm.
Giants to lose, but in a way, I think it would be another 2017 season is what this team needs because at that point everybody would be gone. There's no reason to keep anybody here no more. Whereas if you get 6, 7 wins, maybe 5 wins is good enough. I don't think you're going to get the heads to roll. You may get the GM fired, but if Joe Judge kind of turns around what's going on and the team starts playing harder for him and maybe the mental mistakes go away and just because we're not that talented, we lose games. There's a reason. I could see a reason. Okay, well, we're going to keep Joe Judge. Well, who are you bringing in? Who are you bringing in that's going to want to work with Joe Judge? Because not every GM is lining up to work with Joe Judge. So the only logical choice right there is Kevin Abrams. But I've said that in the past as well. And I could
Hmm.
see the Giants going that route and just saying, Kevin Abrams, do what you need to do. I need a winning team because that's what my fan base needs. And I just think you're delaying the inevitable.
Hmm.
Where I think you should just clear out house, say, knock over the castle and just make clean. If the season continues this way, I don't know. Maybe we have a giant turnaround, and we all get the season we all wanted. But right now, it doesn't look likely, and there's
Hmm.
nothing of consistency on this team. Maybe besides maybe Andrew Thomas, out of everybody, that you can sit there and go, okay, that's the side of the ball that I really feel confident. There's not a single side of the ball, not special teams. Or Graham Gano, sorry, I'll rephrase that. Graham Gano and Andrew Thomas right now are the two guys I'm all about.
Would you
That's it.
put Daniel Jones in there based off his 3 week performance?
I would, but at the end of the day, I, you're going to get that Daniel Jones. I feel you're just going to get that Daniel Jones regression game at some point, and it's just going to be back to I hope he continues this trend where he's not turning the ball over. He shows that positive things because regardless of how I feel about Daniel Jones, I will say this: you're going to see a Sam Darnold situation where he goes to a different change of scenery. The Panthers are 3-0. I could see Daniel Jones going to another team. I think he's good enough where he'd earn the job with another organization that needs a quarterback, and he is going to not light up the league, but I think Daniel Jones can be a solid quarterback in the NFL. I'm seeing progression. I'm not seeing the same red striping I saw in week one. And I'm seeing the analysts say, okay, well, he looked that guy off and delivered the ball here. He looked this guy off, he delivered the ball here. I'm seeing more he's coming up the line and he's trying to audible and do different things. You saw a ton of it in the Atlanta game.
Hmm.
It's just the play calling at the end of the game just absolutely killed me. When it was 1st and 10, right around the 50, why aren't we running the ball there? We're in the 4-minute offense. We are trying to take up
Remember
as
when
much
we were
time.
on the 39-yard line and we punted on the 39-yard line?
That was
That was
stupid.
ridiculous.
Give it to Graham Gano. The guy is freaking
Yeah,
money right now.
Justin Tucker just won a game off a 66-yard field goal. I'm not saying Graham could do that, but he's made 55, and that was I think around like
Graham
50 or
Gano
something
made a
like that.
64. Graham Gano made a 64 against us, bro.
I know, but we're talking about Justin Tucker. Either way, I would trust Graham Gano at the 39-yard line to take a field goal instead of punting it.
All right,
You know what I'm saying?
here's a quick discussion to put a smile on your face. Is Graham Gano a top 10 kicker in the NFL?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
He's been
bar
consistent
none.
for 20 straight weeks now. He's been very, very accurate for 20 straight weeks now. And I think he currently holds the Giants record for most it's either most field goals or most extra points in a row right now. He holds the Giants record. And he's only been here for like
Yeah,
a
he
year
does.
and 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of great Giants kickers. Brad Deluiso, Graham, the guy that kicked us into the playoffs. Sorry, not Graham. Matt Barr. Matt Barr kicked
Hmm.
us into the playoffs. Like I've seen
Lawrence
a
Tynes.
lot of great kickers. Lawrence Tynes, yes. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's to me, it's really not that big of a surprise. So my man, I just sometimes when it comes to this team, like nothing surprises me anymore. And I wish come on here and be a little bit more upbeat give you more hope. I mean, I don't know how much of that, like when you went live, it was just like I'm speechless. I don't even know what I'm gonna do right now. So
A lot of it was. A lot of it was. I will say thank you for calling in, OGR. It's always great to have you on. I'm completely fine with anybody coming on and just once again, this is for you guys to just dump what you feel on here, man. And this is what I want. Thank you, bro. You brought up really a lot
yep.
of good points that I agree with personally. And thank you for steering it towards Graham Gano at the end there because it is one of the bright spots on this team right now. Hopefully, we can keep him moving forward. Have a good one, man.
All right. Talk to you later, my man. Bye bye.
Before I add in Nate here, let me just say shout out to chat once again, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We got AJ Nix, Mike Lowe, Damian Jackson, Sober Party, Tyler Terry. Is that a play on Tyler Perry? Or is that your name? My bad if it is. Ramdre in here as well. Let's see. Tyler says we might not win the division, but I understand why you guys are down this team, but I'm not pulling out. Yeah, bro, that game we lost Blake, Shepard, Slayton long before halftime. I agree, we did lose them long before halftime, but also before we lost them, we were playing pretty terrible. Let's not ignore that. Like they were in the game for I think at least the first quarter or a good part of the first quarter, and we look really bad, man. We look bad. Let's see here. Ramjay says Aziz looks good so far, but teams we face are a lot better from here on out. So we'll see. I agree. I mean, he's still very raw. We'll see how he progresses on that front. I really like what I'm seeing from Andrew Thomas, obviously. I do like what I'm seeing from DJ. And of course, I love what we continue to see from Graham Gano. Let me get Nate in here. What up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Kush? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Also, Dominic in the chat as well. What's up, man?
Hey, well, it's good to talk to you. Always good to be on. I'm going to be honest. I am not going to last long. I am so incredibly tired today. I fell asleep in 3 of my classes. But, yeah, I mean, I figured I might as well come on. It's not a pain stream if I'm not on here making fun of people. I mean, how else can you do it? But, yeah. I think a lot of what OGR is saying is right, and it's good to see him back. Always good to see you, OGR. I mean, the first 2 letters describe him. So it's always good to see you back on. Another CT resident. I'm assuming not exactly loving it, just like I'm not. But hey, sometimes you can't get the game. So on the bright side, I didn't miss a whole lot. I used a whole bunch of different streams that went in and out, but I saw most of it. Not a whole lot to miss. Shame that happened on Eli Day. That was an absolute tragedy, and I feel terrible for the guy. Best quarterback we've ever had. Absolute legend of the team. Definitive face on the Giants' Mount Rushmore, and that's what we gave him, which sucks. I think at halftime described it best. Cheers for Eli, booze for Mara. That's how it is. We are unfortunately in that place right now, and a lot of people recognize it. The true hell of being a sports fan, which is not when your general manager is the biggest problem, not when your head coach is the biggest problem, but when your ownership is the biggest problem. And that's the worst thing because there is absolutely no guarantee that it'll ever end. It's like going to work, and it's not your boss that's the problem, it's your boss's boss, and you know he ain't going anywhere. And you're just going to have to deal with it. There's no accountability. There's no one to tell him he needs to shut up and do his job. There's no one to slap him on the wrist whenever he screws up. You just kind of have to suck it up and deal with it. And that is what it is with Mara right now. At the moment, all we can really do is pray for 3 ghosts to visit him in the night and tell him to sell the team, but I doubt it. So that leaves us with waiting. How old is Jean Mara?
That's a great question.
Probably good 15, 20 years at least until he's gone. So
he's currently 66. He looks way older than 66, man.
He
wow,
does,
I thought he would have been in like his 70s or something.
Yeah. So there's no light at the end of that tunnel we can see. So at the moment, unfortunately for everyone, myself included, who would love to see a change in ownership, to someone who won't meddle and screw things up, and change things that are working and leave things that aren't, doesn't look like we're going to get that. So at the moment, all we can really hope for is the fixable problems, which is, thankfully, everything else. So I think the point we're at right now, in terms of how this season is looking, is we're 0-3. We just lost to the Atlanta Falcons. It's bad, all right? I know there's a lot of optimists out there that still say it's going to be fine. And hey, you never know. It's a 17-game season. Who the hell knows? It's possible, you know? There's a lot of talent on the team. The division is still just in as the throes of chaos as we are, Anything could happen. But at the same time, you know the old saying, you never really know. Sometimes you know.
Mm-hmm.
And with this season, I think Blake Martinez gone, Nick Gates gone, all of our receivers out and injured again, giving us deja vu from last year. Offensive line looking bad, no receivers on the field. I think we all kind of know where this is headed. And now we have to just sort of look to the future. And now we're at a crossroads because we all, you, me, almost all Giants fans, were some version of optimistic for this year. For different reasons, at different levels, we all had some form of confidence. Whether you put a number on it for how many wins, whether you didn't, whether you had playoff expectations or not, everyone, I think, going into this season was rightfully very excited because this is one of the most talented teams we've had in quite a while. We had a coaching staff that, aside from Jason Garrett, we had good reason to believe in, and now it's what it is, So I think at this point, all we can do is look to the future. And when I say that, the question now becomes, what are we going to do? And when you look at our options, I don't think they're as limited as some might say. Right off the rip, if you want to talk about a rebuild, and it's a fair thing to say, it's fair. You want to blow everything up, you're tired of the crap, you want to just start fresh, that's fair. I understand. You want to get rid of Gettleman, you want to start clean, that's understandable. But I think you've once again landed yourself dealing with the repercussions of not doing it right the first time. Because now you get rid of Gettleman, people are going to say, oh, Judge has only had 2 years, the first year to look good. Then you have Patrick Graham. He looks like a guy who's actually willing to pull his head out of his ass and make adjustments and adapt and change. And that's something you need in this day and age. That's a good coach. You hate to lose him, but if you fire Judge, he's gone. And then you look at Jason Garrett, and you say, okay, you'd love to fire him midseason and see what you can do with someone else. Freddie Kitchens? Is that your Lord and Savior? I think not. So at this point, you're really looking at what's salvageable and what's not. And fortunately for us, I think a lot is. At this point, and it pains me to say this, I think whether or not this is Judge's fault, whether or not the blame goes to him, if this season continues as it is in the team's best interest, and it is in the franchise's best interest to clean house top to bottom in the office. That's just what the best way forward is. We still have a lot of talent on this roster. We still have a lot of chemistry there. We have good leadership, and we have young talent. And that's still something we can salvage. And the cap is not good. We're not going to bring in free agents, but that's not something we need to do. We don't need free agents. We need maybe 3 or 4 good rookies. And we have a lot of draft capital. So the roster is fine, which is a blessing to be able to say when you're entering a rebuild. The roster has plenty of value on it. If you want to blow the whole thing up, great. You can start fresh with a new GM, and he'll have mountains of draft capital.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, if you're clearing out the front office and coaching staff, what are you doing with players? Is there anybody you're getting rid of? Anybody you're keeping? Yeah,
that's where I'm going with this. So on this roster, I think the lucky thing we have here is that we've been set up for success for the future because we have a good mix of veterans and young players, and it's sort of odd how Gettleman has built this team. It's a little built backwards, but you still have almost all the pieces. So here's what I'd say. You have 2 picks right now with the Giants and Bears that are likely to be extremely high. If things keep going the way they're going, with Justin Fields getting massacred behind that terrible offensive line, and the Giants not being able to figure out which end of the football is which, laces or not, it's looking a whole lot like you're going to have 2 premium picks. So I think the move here, and once again we're blessed, because, okay, stop. Once again, we're blessed here with this draft class. Because, and this is only on first look, I only just started scouting. I can't say I know names yet of all these players. I can't say I've done enough thorough research. It's only a few weeks into the college season as it is. But it sure looks to me like this upcoming class is rich in everything we need. Especially pass rushers. So here's the way I see it. In terms of the roster, let's go position by position. Receiver, we're fine. We have everything we could need for years. We are fine there. We have Kenny Golladay locked up. We have our rookie Kadarius Toney, who's our promising guy for the future. We have all of our complimentary guys once they can get healthy in Ross and Slayton and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Receivers, fine. Tight end, you don't need to replace immediately. Evan Ingram's gone this offseason, but you have Kyle Rudolph. He can float you until you really want to address that position long term. At running back, Saquon becomes a complicated question that we can address later. We'll table that for now. But at running back, we also don't urgently need to fix that. We have enough, again, to float there. Now we talk about the important stuff. At quarterback, I personally, and we'll talk about the alternative to this in a bit, but I personally would keep Jones. Because I believe in the guy, and I can't accept the Sam Darnold aspect of just let him go somewhere else and ball out. I can't accept that. Because so far in this season, he's shown you that he's going to carry the team as much as he possibly can. He's playing with ankle weights on right now. He's dragging Jason Garrett behind him. He's dragging the injured and inconsistent receivers behind him. I think Daniel Jones is the guy if you let him be the guy. Now, in terms of the offensive line, this is the first thing you really need to address in the offseason. So with one of those first two picks, it absolutely must be a tackle. You could say guard, but I'd rather get one later. Tackle needs to be addressed first and foremost. You have guys at the top that are premium picks. We might have a shot at Evan Neal with our first pick. That would be absolutely ideal. I'll probably talk about him at some point, but all you need to know for now is he's a monster out of Alabama. And I promise you, no matter how attached we are to Andrew Thomas, if we get Evan Neal, Thomas is going to right tackle. Point being, that addresses your offensive line, and you fix guard with probably a second or third rounder. You have enough capital there. You can make moves. So that fixes your offensive line. You have your tackles and Andrew Thomas and whichever tackle you pick up at the top of the draft. You've got your center if, please God, let Nick Gates be back next year. That's a whole other bridge to cross if he's not. At guard, I like Will Hernandez, and then, like I said, you can pick someone up in the second or third round, and that takes care of your line. Now, we've put already a fair amount of resources into that with a couple of high-value picks. The nice thing is, on the defensive side of the ball, and this is where we get back into the roster is already good, there's not a whole lot more to fix. So here's my plan for the defense. I think in terms of the defensive line, this is where I speak on Gettleman kind of built this team backwards. I think he addressed the interior constantly without addressing the edge, which is the problem. So what I would propose here, and this gets into a whole complicated discussion of who's your defensive coordinator, what's their style, et cetera, I would move Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence into two tech defensive tackle positions, draft a premium edge rusher, and move to a 4-3. That gives you one of, if not the best defensive tackle combinations in the league, and a dominant edge rusher like Aiden Hutchinson, like Karlaftis, like someone at the top of the draft. Again, there's a lot of edge rushers in this draft. Put them across from Azeez Ojulari on the other side of the defensive line, and you got a unit that can get after the quarterback there. That takes care of your defensive line. Now at linebacker, hopefully Blake is back next year. You got to think he will be. We'll talk about that later with all these injuries. At outside linebacker, I like Tay Crowder as one of those 2-4-3 outside linebackers. I think he has the range to be a will. And then you can pick up with one of your other picks a rangy guy who can also cover some ground. That's what you need at the linebacker position right now, hopefully with the speed and coverage abilities to take care of tight ends. And just like that, I think you got a defense because the secondary is stacked. You don't need anything more than that. Bradbury's had a couple of bad games, but he's still legit. Adoree Jackson's been playing really good ball so far. And in the slot, Darnay Holmes hasn't been playing great, but we still have so many corners that I think we're going to be fine there. And at safety, obviously, you got Logan Ryan, you got Xavier McKinney. Jabril Peppers is probably not going to be back next year. So like that, you got your defense, you got your offensive line, you got your receivers, and if you keep Jones, you have your quarterback. Now, what it comes down to, and this is what I was talking about, the roster is fine. The roster is the easy part. That's the simple part. Now, the real question, what's your coaching staff? Because if you don't have coaches that can use these players, if you don't have coaches that are going to be creative, you're going to get screwed. And that's what it's going to come down to. So I think all of this is infinitely more complicated depending on what decisions you make, but the Giants definitely have a path forward for the future. It sucks right now. That's all you can say.
Would you say the problem you see in the future if we don't have coaches, that's what we're having right now? Would you say is that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
could
absolutely.
use these guys properly?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the entire reason we all hate Jason Garrett. He refuses to I think the best way to describe it is Jason Garrett coaches his scheme instead of coaching his players, which is an ass backwards way of coaching that never works. It just doesn't. So I think with Jason Garrett, it is what it is. He's not going to be here next year. I pray. I pray he's not. God would be laughing at us if he was. But there's a lot of coaches out there I like. I like Brian Daboll. I like Joe Brady. I'm a little nervous about Eric Bieniemy.
Joe Brady as a head coach?
I think he's earned it.
Okay.
Anyway, though, I think the whole reason I'm saying those names, Brian Daboll, Joe Brady, guys like that, is because those are X's and O's guys. Judge is that guy who's going to be a leader of men. He's going to be the culture and all this stuff. And clearly, if you don't have the X's and O's, that shit ain't going to work. So I think the thing a lot of us are looking for right now is a guy at the top who can be that Sean McVay X's and O's guy for you, and then you can fill in your culture, team, rah spirit guys at the position levels. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Would you go for a more offensive minded, like if you're replacing Joe Judge, a defensive minded, similar Joe Judge where he's not either?
That's an interesting question. I think in terms of offensive versus defensive, I tend to look for a guy who isn't so one-dimensional, but when you're looking for a guy, and again, I used an example of Sean McVay, you're never going to find another Sean McVay because he's one of a kind. That's what the entire league's been trying to do for the last 4 years since he popped onto the scene. But with Sean McVay, the thing that makes him so great is he's not just one-dimensional. He's an excellent defensive mind, and his offensive play calling and run scheme is what keeps him so strong in the league. You're seeing it now with Matt Stafford thriving in that offense. So I think when you're looking for a guy that can do that X's and O's work, that can be on the whiteboard, who can really be creative and use those players right, you're looking for a guy that can do both ways. And my computer is at 1% battery, so I'm going to head out for the night. Thank you so much for talking to me. Let's see if I can get off before my battery dies.
Have a good one, man. Thank you for tuning in. I like the little bit of a plan that you proposed.
Adios.
I was going to say, even though you're popping on, I'll pop you out right now, Nate. Have a good one. The one question I would have asked him if his battery had a little bit more was, do you think the players would be on board for that? Because we're all talking about getting rid of coaches and whatnot. I feel like we might be neglecting how players might feel about this whole situation. Just a thought to put out there. And next up, we got Pest. What up, Pest? Hey, man, it's been exactly 11 days since we last spoke. And when we last spoke, you said for 10 days you'll take a Giants break. So it's been 10 days because it's been 11. What's up, man? How you doing?
So, as it stands right now, I currently have food poisoning. So that's great.
Yo, me too. My stomach is killing me.
Yeah. Both myself and the Korean are down bad over here in the Casa de la Peste. Well, we went to the farmer's market. We got vegetables and stuff, and we got salad, and I think we think it might have been the salad. Sometimes you get some bad produce. So yeah, we're down bad here in Casa de la Pestilence, man. But aside from that, I just saw Eli do the Dak dance on TV, so that made me feel a little bit better. Where he shakes his hips.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. Eli just did that. So that was cool, and I hate the New York Football Giants. So there's that.
We're all in a toxic relationship with the Giants.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm still in this relationship or not.
Let me tell you. They say they change, and at first it looks like it. That was last year. You see a lot of improvement, and then the very next year they go back to the same old problems, where it's like this defense looks so much like James Brecher 2019 defense with all the problems that we're having. The offense, it has the talent there, but it's just not functioning the way it should. It's like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've since I've started doing this stuff, right? I've always tried to keep a level of optimism sprinkled on top of a whole lot of realism, right? I've always tried to be very realistic about this team and very realistic about what this team can and cannot do. And it's getting harder and harder to find optimism in regards to what this team is doing. Kush, why does it seem like I'm 2 feet and you're 6 feet? I mean, I know you're 6 feet in real life, but I'm just looking at it, and there's like a distinct.
My camera is about arm's length away from me. I don't know how far yours is.
But so yeah, I just yeah, I find it very difficult to find any optimism in our situation right now. The fact of the matter is this: in order for us to have a level of success in this season, we needed to win 2 out of these first 3 games, right? Because the next 7 games is just a murderer's row, and we are really, really, really close to being in jeopardy of having probably one of the worst seasons we've ever had. Like when you look at this schedule, and I looked at it yesterday, and realistically, I can find one game that I'm semi-confident we can win. The Dolphins game. I feel like we can probably win the Dolphins.
Oh, you talking about the entire rest of the schedule?
I'm talking about the entire.
I thought you were talking
rest
about the next 7 games.
No.
Like,
I'm talking about the entire season. I am looking at this entire season, and I'm feeling like, man, I only see like one game that this team can potentially win. Fix my shirt. It's all pulled down the front. There's only like one game that I'm looking at, and I'm like, yeah, we maybe can win that game, maybe. But like, this is just this is bad. It's really bad, and I don't have any good things to say about the direction of this team right now.
You don't got to. Just let me know where you think the problem is.
It's coaching. It's coaching. I listen. I said in my. I always sounds like I'm plugging my stuff when I'm not.
It's fine.
I said in my reaction video that the reason why I feel like the New York Giants are the worst team in football is not because of their roster. Right? Their roster is good. We've got a good group of guys here. Okay. It sucks that we just lost Blake Martinez. It sucks that we lost Nick Gates, but we have a good group of guys here. But coaching is what's holding us back right now. Play calling, fundamentals, execution,
discipline,
procedural penalties. Like these are the small details that I didn't expect to be neglected from this coaching staff. And I think that's what hurts me more than, oh, we got a bad roster. Like for me, in my world, having a good roster and bad coaching is much worse than having good coaching and a bad roster, because you can fix the bad roster, but like the bad coaching, that's a recipe for disaster. You know what I'm saying? And so now we're in a position where it's like, well, who else can we get to coach this team? Who else is out there that could change what we're doing?
Before you even go to that, if you were to speak to Joe Judge right now, what would you tell him? Because like you said,
how long we been
all the
streaming
stuff
for?
that we got, 48 minutes.
Okay, good.
Before you go, all the stuff you mentioned, like I was saying, is like all stuff that once again isn't supposed to be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
I would tell him to stop coaching like a bitch. I would tell him to pull his head out of his ass in regards to the decisions that he makes in the most pivotal moments. I would tell him to backhand Jason Garrett in the face and tell him to have Daniel Jones push the ball down the field. You know, we have statistically a very good deep field ball thrower.
And
so
whenever we see it with our eyes too. The one time it seems like he tosses it down the field, it's always a good throw.
Right. So like, why did we only do that twice?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not running RPOs? Why are we not running? Why are we not utilizing Kenny Galladay? Why are we not utilizing Kadarius Toney?
And this is no.
Why are we not getting Saquon the ball in space?
Exactly. Because shout out to Colin Johnson for doing his job, but why is Colin Johnson, when we have all of our receivers out, getting more targets than Kadarius Toney? Why is a 6th round guy from last year getting more targets than our 1st round pick?
Holy shit! Is our 1st round draft pick a bust?
I'm still gonna be on the train where it's like I can't call him that because he doesn't get the ball for me to judge.
But none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. You know, if he was picking up this offense,
if he's actually bad pest, that means this dude was bad from Jump Street, like as soon as they drafted him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so that's the thing, is that maybe he's not bad in terms of being an athlete. Maybe he's bad in the other things. Is he not showing good stuff in practice? Is he not showing that he understands the playbook? Is he not showing that he understands the game plan? Is his attitude shitty? Like,
there's no way to judge the attitude right now. But in terms of on the field stuff, he had 2 passes. What do you think with what he did with those 2 passes? That was all he got.
I mean, so I remember the first pass he caught, he got some yak, and I was like, okay, that's nice. We're gonna use Tony. And then when Slayton went down, I was like, okay, well, put Tony's ass in there.
He definitely got to be the guy. Yeah.
I was like, we listen. He did some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he's able to get yak, so let's use him, and we didn't. And I don't know why. Again. And I'm not saying that Tony is a bust, okay? I'm not saying that, but when you have your first round pick, right? Your first round pick is supposed to be a guy that changes the course of the side of the ball he is on, okay? Mm-hmm. And I understand that we got him late in the draft, but the fact of the matter is that this team wasn't good enough to be late in the draft. We drafted him there because we traded back. So what are we doing? What are we doing with our first round pick? You know what I'm saying? Also, somebody needs to sit Saquon Barkley's ass down and tell him to stop dancing. Like, I swear, if he spends this whole season dancing, he can be gone.
What I will say, and I said this during the stream, he did a lot more vertical running this game than I think I've ever seen him do, even though he's still dancing. Another thing as well, I don't think he's ready, which is sad because I truly believe he was. But every time he did a spin move or every time he juked, his body gave out.
He
collapsed.
Yeah, I don't.
If you're not ready,
know.
And this is on him and on the coaches, if you're truly not physically ready, don't play. You're hurting yourself and the team. Don't be on the field.
Edward Chan said it was Tony that yelled, "What's the play?" If it was Tony that yelled, "What's the play?"
That's a problem.
Then that's an issue.
That's a major problem.
Then that's an issue. If it was Tony, I heard that because I referenced it in my video.
I was like, "Hey, who is that? Tell me that's a defensive player, please."
Bro,
but no, it was an offensive player.
When I heard "What's the play," I lost my mind. But yeah, to the original point, this is coaching, y'all. Straight up, it's coaching. That's why our head coach in my world is back to being Coach Who the F is that? Because he hasn't earned the right for me to call him his name.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that. Why are some Giants fans so adverse to putting blame on not only Judge but Graham as well? Like, I was on Twitter literally arguing with what seemed like a Homer Joe Judge fan, where this guy didn't want to give him any blame. I'm like, yo, it's his team. It's his team that's being undisciplined. It's his team that's making a mistake. He's the guy that's wasting timeouts and challenges and making terrible decisions late. Like,
making terrible decisions. You know what I'm saying? We've got a kicker in Graham Gano that can kick like a 55er.
That's what I was saying.
And you punt on Atlanta's 39. But why? And then I saw his response to that because he was asked that today. I think it was Jordan Ronan that asked him that.
I didn't even have the energy to watch that, man.
And I didn't watch it. I read it. And he went into this big long diatribe about field position and how he felt like the defense would be able to hold them and they'd be able to keep the field position they had.
That's the same thing with last week with Washington. It's like, how do you have faith in this defense to hold Washington? And I was like, you have faith in this defense to hold this Atlanta team?
Screw that. Go win the damn game.
Exactly.
Go win the damn game, Joe. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, listen, I would respect these losses more if we went all in to win the games and lost because we went all in to win the game. I'd be like, you know what? At least he's got balls. Like, at least he's like, screw that. We're going for it. This is a pivotal moment in the game. We're going for it. Let's go win a damn game. Like, I'd be like, hey, listen. I'd rather lose standing on my feet than die on my knees.
Yo, where's that quote from? I've heard that quote so much. Anybody know where that quote is from?
I don't even remember, but like, listen, like that's the whole mindset that we have to have because of the position that we are in as an organization. You know what I'm saying? Like this damn team has been bad for so long. I believe that is from Black Panther. Every single person's job is on the line this year. Do y'all not realize that? Do you not realize that? One of the greatest coaches in the history of our organization, Bill Parcells, was on the verge of getting fired. And he said, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired my way. And he threw caution to the wind. And that was his saving grace. All right. And I'm not trying to be one of those back in my day kind of guys. I know I'm old as hell, but like, this man has to have balls. He has to go out there and put it all on the line because you might get fired. Okay? If y'all are bad, then Gettleman is probably gone, which means someone new comes in. And if they're smart and they bring someone from the outside in, that GM may not want you. You have to go out there and put it all on the line because this is it. You don't have to win the Super Bowl. You don't even have to make the damn playoffs. All you have to do is win some damn games. Show some signs of improvement. And that has not happened for the last 3 weeks. Y'all had 10 days to prepare for the worst defense in the league. And the result was not being able to put up more than 14 points.
This was a defense that led 7 touchdowns up when teams got in the red zone. The Giants only got 1.
Like, listen, we only scored 4. We had 3 trips to the red zone. And on 2 of those trips to the red zone, when I say we're in the red zone, I mean we're on the damn goal line. Within the 5-yard line marker. And on 2 occasions, we end up being in 3rd and forever. What are we doing? It doesn't make any sense. But it's all bad coaching. It's coaching scared. It's coaching to not lose. And honestly, I feel like these players aren't scared of the consequences.
I was about to ask that same thing because I'm like, maybe it's too early to say this, but I don't think the players are really with this staff anymore. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that they've lost a team. I'm not gonna say that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But not being with the staff means they're not seeing eye to eye what they're doing. Not necessarily they're giving up on them.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, listen. If I am a player on this team, right? And I'm watching my coaches.
Real quick, because I knew this was going to come up. I'm sorry, but I do think, yes, Jason Garrett is obviously a problem, but to ignore the other problems with the other coaches is just not looking at the whole team.
Joe Judge is in charge of that son of a bitch. Joe Judge is that man's boss. What are we talking about here? What are we actually talking about here? Joe Judge is in charge of that man. So if that man is ass all year and it doesn't change, it's Joe Judge's fault. Plain and simple, because he's in charge. Sometimes I wonder how many of y'all have ever been in charge of people. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all know me. This is family time. So, like, y'all know I'm going to be nothing but real with y'all and be nothing but honest with y'all. Sometimes I wonder I wonder if any of y'all have ever been in charge of people. Because when you're in charge, you're in charge.
Okay, that's a nice mic.
You're in charge. Anything that happens is on you. So like, yes, Jason Garrett sucks as a play caller. Yes, but Joe Judge is his boss. He works for Joe Judge.
And same goes for the defense. Going back to what I was saying earlier, nobody wants to do anything with Patrick Graham, but the defense has been trash. That's on Patrick Graham. That's on Judge.
It's on Joe Judge. Listen, if Joe Judge can fire an offensive line coach in the middle of the damn season, you know what I'm saying? He can do the same thing for his offensive coordinator or his defensive coordinator / assistant head coach. We forget about that. Patrick Graham is the assistant head coach of this team. It's partially his fault too. Y'all are the two that are in charge of every single coach and every single player on this team. So, like, it's everybody's fault. Everybody takes the blame, but there's certain, but I know my hat's slanted. My life is slanted, plug. It's primarily the owners, because they're assholes, the general manager, because he's stupid, and the head coach, because he's a bitch. Those are the people who are at fault here. Those are the people that we need to be blaming. This roster is a good roster, okay? It is. It's a very good roster. Are we still missing some pieces? Yes. Trench play is questionable. Trench play on this team is questionable, okay?
Shout out to Authentic in the chat.
What's going on, Authentic? Like, but at the end of the day, this roster is pretty good. The other coaches in this league could make miracles happen with this roster. What the hell's wrong with our coaches? That's why I'm more upset than anything. Because there's nothing that pisses me off more than bad coaching, yo. Bad coaching is just terrible. I can deal with having a bad roster. I can deal with, hey, you know what, right now our team's just not good. We got to build some pieces. We got to make some things shake in the offseason. But bad coaching, yo, I can't deal with it.
So then I got to ask you, what do you do with this team moving forward? Like, and I don't think anybody has the answers. We're all fans, but as a fan, what do you want to see happen with this team moving forward? What changes are you making?
I'm changing the channel. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm changing the damn channel
to CBS.
I'm changing the ownership of any tickets that I have. I mean, listen, if I'm going to continue to say this. I'm going to continue to say this, that we need someone from the outside to come in and be a consultant and do some system design and analysis on this team. Okay.
I got just a quick question. Is there any like teams that have consultants in the NFL that I don't know?
Teams do it all the time.
Okay. I was just asking because I guess because I've never heard the Giants do it. I just never heard of it before.
No, because we don't know. Because we don't do it because we have this Giants way. And the Giants way is... I know it's been an hour, but I don't want to get you demonetized. The Giants way is nepotism. Like... No. Authentic. I said that there are still pieces that need to be fixed, right? Our trench play is questionable. Our pass rush is non-existent, okay? Our run blocking is ass. Our pass blocking has been okay. It hasn't been terrible. It's been okay. I'm not saying that this roster is perfect, but what I am saying is that there are other coaches in the league that could take this roster and make them winners. There's other coaches in the league that can win with this roster right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, if anybody wants to argue that point with me, but by all means, but there are coaches in this league right now that could do way better with this roster. Mm-hmm. We've seen it. We have seen it. So, I mean, like, listen, the coaching is bad, and it's making the roster look worse. This roster is not terrible. Mm-hmm. And listen, I've said that we've had bad rosters. I squirt pooped all over the offense last year. And the year before that, I've squirt pooped all over the offense. So don't feel like I am not willing to say if the roster is bad or not. Who are you pausing? Are you pausing me squirt pooping, or are you pausing Someone in the chat. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, cool.
Bro,
Whatever.
my hands are on a coaster right now because I ain't got nothing
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Sure. So listen, yeah, we need to get someone to come in and do some system design analysis, man. There are some fatal flaws in our organizational path. I don't know what those flaws are. Maybe the Mariners need to stop being involved with football operations. Maybe we need to get, people in here who have never had any ties to the Giants and
Oh no, I
create a
think
new
that's a
Giants
fact.
way.
Where does Chris Mara stand? He's been the most consistent piece for what, a decade now
And he's the VP
of football operations.
VP of football operations and scouting.
Yeah.
Get this guy out of here. Get him out of here. Like it's just bad. It's just bad. And that's the first step for me. Obviously that's not something that you can necessarily do right now. But it's something that needs to be done. If I'm John Mara right now, I'm telling Dave Gettleman, do not make another freaking move. No trades, no nothing. Okay? If you sign someone, it's a 1-year deal with no guaranteed money. Like if I'm John Mara, that's what I'm telling people is don't make any more moves because Dave Gettleman might be gone. Plug says if you really want to keep Daniel Jones, you should be rooting for Gettleman because the new GM will draft his own quarterback. So what? Hi, Sunday. So what? Like listen.
Is there anybody on this team that's quote unquote protected, or would you get rid of everybody on the roster?
Kush, I'm not married to a single player on the football.
I know, but you said there's pieces here. Who are those pieces?
I mean, when we look at some of the spots, right? I think Andrew Thomas is a good building block. Bradbury is obviously good. I'm cool with keeping Adoree Jackson. I'm cool with keeping Xavier McKinney. I'm cool with keeping a Blake Martinez. Prayers up to him. I hope he heals quickly. Graham Gano, right? There are some players.
He's still a rookie.
There are some players that I would say, yeah, we can build around those players, but that don't mean that they safe because nothing's safe. Mm-hmm. Nothing is safe. Nothing should be safe. You want to know why we've gotten to this point as an organization? Safety, safe moves, safe hires, safe play calls, safe contracts. That's why we're here. No one should be safe. Everyone should be scared to lose their job every damn day. Every day. Every person that's in the building should be afraid to lose their damn job. Because if you're not scared to lose your job, you get complacent. And when you get complacent, things go bad.
Do you think Judge is complacent? Because I remember reading and seeing, like, right after the game ended, like, he told the reporters everything will be fine. And I'm just where's this man living, bro?
Listen, I don't know if he's just trying to push out a sense of calm. I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to push out a sense of calm or if he's just trying to, cool off the heat. I'm not sure, but I don't necessarily think he is complacent. I would certainly hope he's not, because if he is, then we're definitely screwed.
You saw how he, because this went on, so I saw this on Twitter, like he winked at the reporters after the thing was done. I was just like, what is he, huh? Like, what world is he living in? Like, that's so casual. That's almost as if we're not 0-3.
Yeah. I noticed that too. And when I saw it, in my mind, I was like, this might not be good. Like, this might not be good. This might be bad. Mm-hmm. This could be very bad. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, yo, bro, you got to figure this out. Like, ASAP. You got to figure this out ASAP.
The last thing I want to ask you, Pez, because Joseph's been waiting for a while, is the point that you didn't get to finish. When we're talking about where are the players right now with the coaching staff in terms of belief and stuff like that, where do you think they are?
I don't think that I don't think that the team has given up yet, right? There's a lot of
You
football
say
left to be
yet,
played.
so do you
Yeah,
think it would happen?
yeah. I mean, of course, right? If this team goes in the direction if this team goes in the direction that I think is going in, then morale's going to be bad. Okay, like no one wants to be on a losing team. No one likes losing, even if you're a good loser, which I'm not. I'm a terrible loser. But even if you're a good loser, nobody wants to lose. So yeah, if this team is 7-0, 8-0, 9-0, yeah, yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad, and we could possibly be 7, 8, 9-0, especially with this next stretch of games. We could absolutely be that. So, like, yes, the players will be like, "This is bull. I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying this," and you'll lose a locker room, sure. Do I think it's happened yet? No, it's too soon. There's still some more football yet to be played. And listen, a win can change everything. All right, it can change everything. If it's a huge if we win on Sunday, that could be the turning point of the season. It could be because now we can start talking about stacking wins, and that could change everything. But that win has to come, and it's gotta come stat. It's gotta come stat. So I don't know. We're gonna see. We'll see what happens. But in my mind, this is getting ready to be a very frustrating season, y'all. So strap in. I have waived the 24-hour anger period, right? You guys are allowed to just be angry. Just be angry as you like. Because there's no more anger period now. The whole season is an anger period, y'all. And we'll see what happens. And I'll be here, and I'll be giving you guys my insight on what I think is going wrong or going right. So that's what it is.
And guys, make sure you check out Pest not only on YouTube but also on Twitch. I'll go over there. What is it on Twitch? Is it Pestilence or PTA?
It's PTA Sports.
Over there on Twitch, guys. Has pretty good, even though he's terrible at it, gaming episodes and stuff. You'd find you agree with the chat over here most of the time. Thank you for calling in, Pest, man.
All right, man. Hey, you guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves, and I'll get up with you guys later. Deuces.
Peace. Take your pills. Next up, and last but not least, we got Joseph. What's up, man? How you
Yo,
doing?
what's going on, Hub? Oh man.
Oh, real quick before you go, I will say I see chat. Shout out to everybody here once again. Like up the stream, share it. And I see two people already believe in Sajid and Wyland that the locker room might already be lost. I don't know. I think it might be a little bit early as well, but those are the kind of talks we're having when we're 0-3, and the way we've gone 0-3.
Yeah, I think honestly, like, I don't think the locker room's lost yet. I mean, they bought in for a reason. But I have no idea where this coaching staff's been. Last year, like, we had so much promise with like a worse roster, and now, I mean, on paper, we look good. And it's just like, it's just the coaching staff, Joe Judge is really the issue. I mean, I honestly bought into it. Remember, like, his first press conference where, like, it was just good talk, and then, it just doesn't produce.
Like almost every press conference.
I mean, yeah, honestly. It just doesn't produce on the field, and it's just, it's honestly sad because, it just happens every single year where there's just the same 0-3, 0-4, 0-5 team, and I mean, I honestly bought in this year. I thought we could be like a 8, 9, 10 win team maybe, with this roster, but, unfortunately injuries, mostly coaching staff issues. But I mean, injuries definitely play a part into it. I'm not happy with Judge. You spend the 20th pick on Kadarius Toney, you don't use him, even though most of the receivers are injured. I mean, that's just silly. I just don't know. I'm just not happy at all.
Hey, shout out to She Got Sports in here as well. Lauren, guys, make sure you go over there, check out Lauren. And yeah, Sober Party, I thought you were the one saying peace out, but glad you're still here. Just because it's going in the chat right now, bro, and because I guess I was the one that posed the question, I really don't want to talk about it. But what do you think about the question? And, like, for example, Bark Nasty here saying They might already secretly have not, gotten the team yet.
Uh Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Basically, where's the locker room right now with the coaches?
I mean, I feel like that's a tough question. I would say they can obviously tell there's something wrong. 0-3 is not a great start at all. I wouldn't say it's a complete divide between them. Obviously, they built trust with them before last season. It's just I'm just not happy with that. I bet you they're not happy with it either. I mean, 0-3 is just not a good look at all for any team. And it can honestly ruin our season. So I'm just not happy. Just to switch it up just a little bit. I've been seeing some people saying it's Jones's fault. I mean, I don't think it's Jones' fault at all. And they want to look for a quarterback going into this offseason. I feel like the quarterbacks going into this offseason in the draft and free agency, I feel like we should just stick with Jones. I know it's only week 3.
Listen, if we're getting a new quarterback, just wait for Arch Manning. And at this point, I really mean it, not even as a joke.
I mean, honestly, probably, but I feel like Jones, I don't want to say he's the answer yet, but I see promise from him. I mean, I don't know. I just want to keep Jones for now. It's just, I mean, we don't have the money to pay, like, I don't know, Derek Carr, for example, to completely change this franchise. We just don't have the money, and also there's the picks. I would rather get an edge rusher in the draft. Totally pass rush heavy in this draft, and I love it because we need it. If we had like Kayvon Thibodeau next to Zizo Jalari, that's just gonna be crazy. And I just really hope we don't strip down these players and like get rid of everyone, players wise. I feel like this defense can be saved with an elite edge rusher because the secondary set. The D line's okay. And I feel like our offense is pretty good when healthy. I just need to see more consistency. And that's pretty much it. I mean, really, you could dabble at the O line, definitely edge rusher. Maybe wide receiver too, replace Slayton, but I feel like that's why we have. I mean, Tony's really a gadget player, but we just need that another big body receiver. And Sajid said we need another linebacker. We could use another linebacker. I feel like it's not our biggest priority. But yeah.
I think like everybody was saying I don't think talent or necessarily the roster is the issue with this team.
No, it's definitely not.
It's kind of definitely coaching. And I'm not saying coaching is all to blame because there's certain players that just aren't showing up. Like Leonard Williams has been missing. Dexter Lawrence has been missing. Like, I don't know what they're doing. But for the most part, it's coaching. And to quickly answer, I saw Lauren ask, what was the stuff on Instagram? So take it how you will, because people view social media as having varying impacts. Different people view it as having different type of impacts on not only NFL, but NBA, any sport really in today's world. Take it how you will. A couple days ago, it could be changed now, but I have screenshots to prove it from a couple days ago where both Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney were no longer following DJ on Instagram. Like I said, take it who you will. Maybe they follow him again now, but I have screenshots, so it's not like I'm out here spreading false information.
Oh my
That's all up, because some people believe that means nothing. Some people believe that means something. I think I put it out on Twitter the other day. But
I did not get to see that. That's actually
whatever the case is, even if it means something, I don't think they're angry with him. I think we both know. Once again, it goes back to coaches rather than the players.
Yeah, I mean, everything honestly falls on the coaches, but that's actually surprising. I did not hear about that. But man, I feel Jones is not the issue. Definitely not the issue. I mean, there's some plays that definitely be like, all right, come on now. But at least he's showing promise and improvement. That's what you want to see from a quarterback. But like I said before, I just don't think this is the offseason to get a quarterback at all, especially with Jones showing promise. I just feel like we just need new coaching staff. Maybe we just need that Pat Shurmur West Coast offense back. That Daniel Jones just thrives in that offense. I mean, his rookie season stats just prove it. I mean, like 20-something touchdowns. I mean, he had turnovers, but I mean, that's his rookie year. So I don't know. I'm just not happy.
True, by the way, Rick was the one that showed me that.
Really?
Shout out to Rick, yeah.
Shout out to Rick though, but I'm just not happy with this team at all. Not at all. This just stinks. Honestly, does.
I
Uh,
mean, I don't even know what to say. Bro, what are you doing, man? What are you doing as a fan? What do you want to see happen in trying to fix this team?
just honestly just falls back again with the coaches. Just new coaching staff, just revamp this team. The players, we have the talent. We honestly do. I mean, on paper it says it. Um, we just need something new. I mean, like you said before, like outside of the not the Giants way, outside of the organization. We just need someone brand new that could just honestly just change this team. I wouldn't blame it on Mara. I mean, I've been seeing people blame it on Mara. I mean, he's the guy that honestly just pays the people to uh what's the word, to not control this team, to I don't know, just to put this
So do
team
you believe
together.
Mara has no type of influence on this team?
He probably does. I would say the giant way kind of thing, but I don't think he has too much of a impact on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I'm just in pure disappointment. Yeah, I really am up.
Me
Um,
too, man.
I just don't think we're gonna win any more games. I mean, we're probably gonna win
Oh, and
3, 4.
17.
No, not 1-17. I meant like, uh, we're not gonna win many games. That's what I meant. So like, I would say 3, 4, 5 wins, maybe. I mean, it's just sad to say. Man, I don't know. I'm sorry, man. Jeez.
Yeah. I will say Christopher made a very interesting comment that I highlighted a few seconds ago. He says Jones is not the problem, but also not the answer. I feel like that's where I am with him. If
I could
everybody's
agree with
saying
that.
Daniel is the problem, I don't think you're looking at the same football we're looking at. He's
Hmm.
clearly the first thing from the problem, but at the same time, I'm still not sure if he's the answer. As in, I'm still not sure if he's a franchise QB. You know what I'm saying?
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So
I
like that's
mean,
exactly where I am with Daniel right now.
like I said before, I mean, there's promise, but it's not solidified that, yeah, he's my quarterback. I mean, I like Jones. I'm on the Jones. I've been always liked. I never disliked Jones. I mean, yeah, Jones has his mishaps, but we need to see this consistency of great football from him. That could just make this team much
And that's
better.
another thing I'm glad you brought up. Great football. This season, we haven't seen great football from Daniel, except for the Washington game, I guess. But
Hmm.
in Denver and against the Falcons, it was good football. And yes, I do put a whole bunch of blame on Jason Garrett, on Joe Judge, with the way plays were called, on, everybody, all right? There's a lot of blame to go around. However, like, in my mind, if you're like the franchise guy, you overcome some of that. And you
Yeah,
have a performance that could push the team a little bit more.
and honestly, a franchise quarterback takes over football games. Any franchise player takes over football games. I mean, we pay Leonard Williams for a reason because I mean the
He's not
Seattle
taking
game.
over games, though.
Well, not now, obviously
Yeah.
not now, but I'm talking about before as an example. Um, he took over the Seattle game. There's probably another game, the Dallas game. You know, those are players. I mean, obviously he's not now, but to be a franchise player, you have to take over a game. And we saw great football from Jones. I just need to see more of it. Not against Washington, because he usually plays well against Washington, but those stats were just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see it again. Maybe on a better defense, or not a better defense, like another good defense. Um, and that's pretty much it. I just need to see great football from him to be my quarterback.
Exactly. And
But the promise
shout
is
out to Nikki for a comment. I'm guessing, oh yeah, YouTube's doing this thing where it highlights long-term members. It's not showing up on my StreamYard for some reason, so I gotta
that's
look over
interesting.
here. Shout out to Nikki though, first ever member. She says, only good thing about New York Giants is the content creators. I appreciate that a lot. And I just noticed
I could
13
agree with that.
months over a whole year now. Thank you for sticking with the channel, Nikki, through thick and thin, as we're all sticking with the Giants through thick and thin.
It
And
was
that's
actually
another good question, bro. That Lauren put up. It's very, very early. But like, what are we doing with Galladay, bro?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. Can he just like stay healthy? I mean, obviously he played, but like, wasn't there like a minor injury this week with him? I feel like we're not using him correctly, or it's just him himself. You
It
know,
might be a combination, but I feel a lot of it has to do with like I don't see us targeting him in the second half, bro.
I totally agree. I mean, we have to use him. It's like we paid this man so much damn money to not use him. Like that makes no sense. I mean, obviously, it's good to throw it to the open man like Shep, for example, but that's our red zone guy, and we're not converting in the red zone. That's what's honestly killing us. We went in the red zone 3 times against. How many times was it? Hub 3, right?
Yeah.
Against Atlanta, we could have 21 points just for being in the red zone, and that would have solidified the game. We could I don't know, just throw it up to Galladay. I mean, that's what you got to do at this point. I mean, same with Rudolph too.
Yep.
Why don't you use Rudolph in the red zone? I mean, he's a great blocker.
Both of those guys are red zone targets that we brought in. We knew they were going to be red zone targets that we expected to help with our red zone struggles, and we're not even using them in
And
the
that
red zone.
falls on the coaching staff, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, maybe it's a combination of the players and the coaching staff. I'm not sure, but
And yes, I
obviously,
will say, even though Sajid is clearly a DJ hater, yeah, a part of that does fall on Daniel Jones as well. Like, I'm not about to put when it
oh,
comes down to the
definitely,
red
yeah.
zone and targeting certain players. At the end of the day, he's the quarterback. Maybe he's simply not targeting them. But there's also, you could very much recognize plays aren't being made for them at the same time. It's both.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, it's just a bad mixture. Like I don't know what's gonna go. I just hope we just don't go to the point where we just strip the players, strip everyone. Everyone's gone. Literally
Mhm.
everyone's gone. I
Mhm.
hope that doesn't happen because this defense has promise. I mean, they were the 9th ranked defense last year, right, Hub?
Yeah.
And we didn't have Adoree Jackson, so I think our defense is set. We just need to stop these mental errors. Like literally, good football teams don't find ways to lose like that. Like they just finish the game, and we just cannot finish a game. I mean, last year we saw that we had a chance, but I mean, we're nowhere near where we were last year, surprisingly. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna get to Saquon. I love Saquon, but he's not it. I mean, I love Saquon, but like he just needs to rest or something because he's obviously not 100%. He's not the Saquon that we know. I would like to rest Saquon. It's not worth it at all to put him in. Just get him healthy. It's not like you said before. It's not healthy for the team or for himself. So I feel like Saquon's definitely going to be Saquon. I definitely see it, but he's just not ready yet at all.
I agree with you, man. Like I was saying, he makes one move, and his knees are gone. Like his body gives out. And it's
It's
like I said, I'm like, I'm not sure if that means Saquon's never gonna be himself again, or if
hopefully
that
not.
simply means he just needs more time. Whatever the case is, he probably shouldn't be on the field right now.
I totally agree. I think he needs to rest up or something, or just less snaps. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind Booker, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that falls on the coaching staff again. Misusing your players. I don't know. It's just not. I'm just not happy with this team at all.
Yeah. Joseph, I'm gonna pop you out now for New York G31, and he will be the last
That's
guy
fine.
on tonight.
Thank you, Hub. I'll
No
see you in a little
problem,
bit.
man. Thank you for calling in. Great mod. Have a good one, bro.
See ya.
And finally, last but not least, New York Giants 31. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not good, man. Not
Mhm.
good. We used to this trash ass team, the Atlanta Falcons.
With like the worst defense in the NFL, and we put up how many points?
We put up 14 points.
Yeah.
14 points against a bum ass team. I'm
I don't got
like,
any
come
words,
on,
man.
bro. Come on, bro. I'm like, okay, we're in the fourth quarter, right? We're 4-3. Why we did not go for it?
Wasn't that the same? Like I said, the same thing with the Washington game last week too. And it's not just the fourth quarter. There was opportunities outside the fourth quarter where the Giants should have just gone for it. Like there was opportunities in the Washington game in the first half. I remember vividly where it's like 4th and 2 and we punt, and I'm like, maybe we should try and convert just because we know this is a team that's going to struggle to get points. This week there was
You
opportunities out of the fourth quarter to score, whether it was touchdown or the field goal. Like we said earlier in the stream, that punt from Atlanta's own 39, Graham Gano makes that kick. That's 3 points. But we
but
punted.
but why we didn't kick a field goal in 4-3 then?
That's when that fourth which 4th and 3 are you talking about now? The one
That's in the fourth quarter.
I'll have to pull up and see what yard line we were on. I can't remember if that's the same one where we punted from the
Because everybody
39,
was
but
asking why we didn't don't kick the field goal. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched part of the game because I was at work.
mhm.
But another interesting thing too, I know why they play that soft zone because they trying to stop the run. But every time they try to stop the run, they pull out of it. and they change into a pass, and that's why we getting burned with the soft zone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just recognize that now because we play a lot of soft zone last year, and we were successful stopping the run, and teams that's not running on us this time. Have you noticed that this time?
Let me see if I could pull it up. Well, Melvin Gordon, let's be honest. Against Denver, we stopped the run except for that one big run. Against Washington, I don't think we necessarily stopped the run. And this game, I'm trying to think back. Was there really that many
No,
runs
this
with
game we
Atlanta?
stopped the run. We stopped the run pretty well in this
I don't know.
game.
I don't know if I would say pretty well because there was still a couple of gashes. Like both Cordell and Mike Davis during the game had their opportunities where they just gashed us.
Oh, really? I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to look at the replay on that one because I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna
It's
have to
not like
watch the
at the
game
end of the day,
over
like
though.
their box score was high or anything, but they had important runs at the times they need to have important runs when we couldn't stop them, you know?
I don't know. We could have won this game, man. Because when we
Oh,
was
of
up
course.
by like a touchdown, man, I was sigh. I was pumping up because Atlanta fans was talking mad crap about our offensive
The thing
line
is
and the,
we always give up a touchdown right before the half. And as soon as we gave up that touchdown to Atlanta right before the half, they took the lead 7-6. I feel like a good amount of Giants fans knew what was coming after that.
we kicked two field goals right in the first half. I think we was aggressive in the red zone. That was pretty good. But the thing is, we need to score in that red zone. We need to use Kyle Rudolph more often. Kelly Galladay. Why are you using Kelly Galladay in a slant run? Why are we using this little West Coast offense? Why we just don't throw the ball down the field like Eli used to do all the time?
I don't think we have I don't think we have a West Coast offense, but what we're doing with Kenny Galladay is straight up not targeting him in the second half. And we saw once again a lot of curl routes. Jason Garrett loves his curl routes, and I don't know why
You know
we
what?
have that.
This team is gonna lose the locker room just now. Trust me. I said it on the chat. They're gonna lose this locker room. I'm telling you, they're not gonna lose the locker room now. Wait till a few games, then they're gonna start losing the locker room, and then they're gonna know why I said that. Kadarius Tony was not a good pick at all. We couldn't got our offensive line in the first round, right? Probably in the third and the fourth round range, we could have got a wide receiver if you wanted it. We need our offensive line. That's most important. I'm glad we got Aziz Ojolari, but in the third round, you got to trade up to get Aaron Robinson, and we already have a corner. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
That does not make no sense. That don't make no sense, man. I don't know what the Giants didn't see in these offensive tackles in the draft. I mean, that goes to that's the reason why we lose this game because no offensive line depth, and then after training camp they have to make it up by actually not training camp after preseason they have to make it up by signing players from other teams. I mean that's ridiculous. We don't even need to do that. I'm just like I'm just flabbergasted how Dave Gettleman is building this team backwards and not forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So
the
you say it's time to move on
2008.
from Dave.
Oh, it's time to move on from Dave. It's definitely time to move on from Joe Judge. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I just had enough with Dave Gettleman. I really have enough with Joe Judge with his stupid discipline analogies.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's all talk, but he's not backing it up on the field. You see his press conference say that we did everything right in the Atlanta game. Are you stupid?
I didn't watch the press conference because I didn't have the heart to watch it. But if he said that, that's ridiculous. You kidding me?
Yes, he did.
We did so
Yes, he
much
did.
wrong. In every single one of our
Yes,
losses, we did so much wrong.
yes, he did. If you look at his press conference, he did everything well, but he said we had to clear up our mistakes. We had to look at the film. He always say he had to look at the film, but He doesn't look at the film properly enough to discipline those players. Look, we cannot do this on this. We cannot do this on that. Look at
Mm-hmm.
the offside Desalones made against the Washington Redskins. We could have won that game. We probably
Mm-hmm.
could have been 1-2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of that, we're 0-3. I don't think we winning against the Saints. We definitely not winning against the Cowboys. I think right now 7 wins is on deck for us, though. That's what I believe right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
All right. Hey
Yeah.
man, NYG31, thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate the thoughts. Any last ones before I let you go?
Um, just check out my channel. That's about it. I'm sorry to bore you out, man.
What did you say?
I'm sorry that I bored you out with all this talk.
Nah, you didn't bore me out. If I was bored out, I would have had you off way earlier. Nah, nobody ever
Yeah,
bores me out. The whole reason
yeah,
for these pain streams are for you guys to come on and talk
yeah.
about, what you want to talk about. And to
Right,
be
right,
honest with
right.
you, I agree with most of what you say. The one part I really didn't particularly agree with was we lost the game because of the offensive line. I feel like we lost the game because of a lot of things. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like old line depth for sure. And I completely agree with everybody now. I've been agree with everybody since essentially halfway through the offseason where it was like Aaron
right.
Robinson was a stupid pick. We should have gotten a guard there. Ben Cleveland was available and stuff like that. Trey Smith was available in the 6th round, and he's doing well for the Chiefs. Like there was offensive line to take past the first because not only is our offensive line depth depleted right now, no matter what you think of Tony, so our wide receiver depth is depleted right now because all of our starting wide receivers are injured. So it's like we need him, even if whether he's good or not. We just need
Mm-hmm.
somebody there. You know what I mean?
Right, right. But I didn't like that Kadarius Tony pick because I feel that we should have stayed at 11 or 10 to pick up Richard Slater, like I said before. Was we
Rashawn
don't
Slater is
have
really looking like the right pick right now, man.
Yep.
That
And
dude
he's
he's
playing well
doing
for the
so good.
Chargers, right?
Yeah,
He's
he's
playing
doing
well
really
for the
good for the
Chargers,
Chargers.
right?
Yeah,
Where is
he's doing
he?
pretty.
Right guard or right tackle?
I'm pretty sure they have him at tackle.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he. I just want to double check. He might be out right now. Let me check.
Really?
Uh, no, okay. I know. I think I might have read somewhere he was out, but okay, no, he's good. He's good. I thought he was injured or something.
Okay, okay.
I think
See,
he's
you see
healthy
what I
though.
mean? You
Mm.
see what I mean? We should have picked him right there. We could have offensive line depth. We didn't need to go get nobody else from the outside, and that's it. I mean,
I
we
mean,
drafted 3 offensive
I
linemen
agree
last
with you, but
year.
at the same time, if we draft Slater, who's to say Judge doesn't make the mistakes and the coaching staff don't make the mistakes they're making right now?
Oh, I didn't think about that part. Good thing you remind me because what he did with Matt Pert, man, he mistreated Matt Pert. He should have stopped Matt Pert, set up this trash bum Nate Soldier.
I wasn't even referring to that, but that might be some. I was talking about, like Judge. He continuously is bad with time management, his
Oh
challenges. We
yeah,
talked about him not being aggressive. Even if we drafted
yeah,
Slater, I think that stays the same. I don't think that
right.
changes how he coaches, and I don't think it
Hmm.
changes how Jason Garrett coaches. You know what I mean?
He should never become a head coach though. He should have never took this Giants job if he know he can't handle it. Cause I don't think Joe Judge could handle it though right now. I don't think this team is for him. You need like a young coach but more experience.
Hmm.
You need a drill sergeant, but at the same time, you need a little softer coach so players could interact or maybe like. Because right now, players don't like Joe Judge right now. They're not going to say in the media, but I don't think they're going to like Joe Judge right now. I think it's going to be faltering pretty soon in the next few games. Watch out. It's going to happen.
We'll see. I mean, I already believe it definitely could happen if we're sitting at like 0-7 or something.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
but yeah, man, like I was saying, thank you for calling in, bro. Hope you
Uh,
call in next week. Have a good one, my man.
you too, man.
And guys, that will be it for tonight. I just want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. See, Ash tuned in. Levance was in here. Big Pat Sports Talk was in here as well. I'm tired. You already know. It's currently my semester. So I'm tired from just going to college and stuff like that and doing work. Thank you all as usual for tuning in. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody that called in. Always, as usual, it's a great pain stream because we all get to share our thoughts. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. That's it for now. I'm out.